Hello everyone and welcome to Sambhav Law. In today's session, we have with us Kanishka, who is currently a student at IIT Kharagpur LLM, and accordingly, she will be sharing with us her preparation strategy as to how she prepared for the IIT Kharagpur exam, and also she will be sharing as to how is the course, how is the faculty, what is the placement scenario, and how the all over structure of IIT Kharagpur LLM works. And एक deep dive हम लोग लेंगे कनिष्का के साथ यहाँ पे IIT Kharagpur LLM को लेके. So accordingly, Kanishka, I would like to welcome you to the channel.
Thank you so much, sir. First of all, I'm really honored to be on this platform. And first of all, I'm introducing myself. I'm Kanishka Vaish. You already did my introduction. However, I'm just giving a brief to the audience. I'm Kanishka. I'm currently doing my LLM from IIT Kharagpur, and my specialization is in IPR.
Yeah, and accordingly, Kanishka, if I go firstly towards the faculty, this time around, IIT Kharagpur, when the paper is going to happen, what can a student expect as to what the question paper, how it will be, and what things should be considered while preparing for this exam, according to you?
Okay, so this paper is about a very dynamic scenario where you need to focus on every subject. There is no set pattern which I can say. The pattern definitely keeps on changing. Also, you need to focus on the core subjects. Some questions are moderate and some are from the practical aspect of it. Definitely, IIT KGP is known for its IPR regime. So IPR is more in the question paper. So when you're preparing for IIT KGP, IPR is must. Then I think alternative dispute resolution is another good subject. And a few other subjects like the basic subjects, criminology, then criminal subject, then civil, then ADR again, then environment law. These are few core subjects which every person should do while preparing for the IIT KGP exam.
Yeah, and according to Kanishka, we will also add to the list like subjects like constitutional law, criminal law, and
Definitely,
contracts and
Consti is the
family
core,
law,
yes.
jurisprudence, international law. These are the subjects, and accordingly, what subjects you have mentioned, we have to be very, very cautious about the fact that we prepare these subjects along with the subjects you told in a
Yes,
combination of
yes.
same. Acha, about the other subjects, if I just ask you about the question paper that came last, because it's like the paper is not being circulated by IIT Kharagpur, they don't share the paper. So as far as your recollection goes, what were the subjects that were asked, and accordingly, how was the question paper when it was like when you guys were doing it?
So when I gave the exam, question paper was from all the subjects. I won't say that particular subject was more into the question paper. It was a paper which was well planned, and every subject was given equal weightage into it. And competition law is one of the another subject which you should focus on. Also, I would say that jurisprudence, which we generally tend to skip while studying, but jurisprudence is very important. And in fact, jurisprudence is still a subject with us in LLM. So I would suggest that don't skip jurisprudence. Again, evidence law is important, and human rights definitely. Those were questions were also there into our paper. Paper is about your understanding of law, not more about the just mugging up the law. So I would suggest everybody out there to just focus on the basic understanding of the law, Company Act, understand the principle of the Company Act. That would be a great go ahead.
I see. And so, Kanishka, if I also
Yeah.
go into the fact that the kind of questions and the difficulty of questions that would have come in the paper that you guys gave, what was that? If you would like to tell the students accordingly with that about that part.
Okay. So few questions were moderate. However, few questions were on the harder side. But provided if you are like on the practical part, if you know it, that question would be very easy for you.
I see, which means
Yeah.
if we talk about the questions that are basically based upon the reasoning assertion or basically are basically
Exactly.
and basically are illustration based questions. They give you a situation accordingly. They ask you also questions. Those type of questions also asked. Asha, now I come to the part where I would like to ask you like as to when you were preparing for the exam itself, what method did you use and what kind of material were you going through for that particular thing?
As said, this paper is very vast in nature. For vast, particularly, I mean that this covers a range of subjects. So you need to divide your time accordingly. Plan in advance that which subject you are going to cover in how much time. One thing which I would say loud here that don't leave any subject because every subject carry weightage and there might be good number of chances of having questions from all the subjects. You can like what I did was I went on to taking the basic books. For const, if I say the compiled version which we have of DD Basu is a good way to revise the const which we have studied already. For environment law, you can pick in HN Tiwari. And for family law, as we all have studied, Paras Diwan is again a good book. Human rights, H.O. Agarwal, and then IPC, you can go for KD. So, what the idea is that to revise the concepts, you can go on to the basic books which you have already studied. And then, if you have your LLB notes with you, then that's a great plus point. You can revise them. If you don't, you can make some key points and then revise it. And also, do not forget to keep a focus on the current affairs. Not much, but be updated with the legal happenings around.
And Kanishka, if I would draw your attention to the part where, like, if we talk about IPR, so is it necessary for a student to also take care of like legal current affairs related to IPR specifically?
Definitely. So, for me particularly, I can tell that IPR current affairs were not only important for the exam per se, but they were also important for the interview point of view. Even in interview, they do ask you the recent happening in the IP domain.
Yeah, but the point is that the interview part has been removed from the exam pattern this time around. So only a
Okay.
written paper will be there. So accordingly, that doesn't matter. But still, it is quite handy if someone has a good knowledge of the recent IP, because the pattern itself is not very, it's very fluid pattern. So it can happen that,
Mhm.
they might ask you questions from related to certain IP books. Acha, also, if I go into the fact that how much practice should one have while, if we talk about IIT Kharagpur, it's a very, it's a question paper, is a bit lengthy, and the number of questions that come. So what do you say, how much mock papers and how much practice is needed for this particular thing?
So 2 points. One, definitely for the matter of speed, but also for the matter of that you are able to choose the right option. Options are a bit confusing sometimes, that you might feel that this option is right or that is right. So for that, I think attempting at least 20 mock papers, I'm just giving a minimum range, would be a good way to go ahead, because definitely even revising your entire LLB syllabus is a hectic task for a student, right? So for those who are in final years, I would definitely suggest to go ahead with the mock papers. That will give you a wide range and also a revision to the concepts which you have already studied.
I see. And accordingly, Kanishka, if I now come towards the part where we talk about IIT Kharagpur itself, and so first of all, I would like to ask your experience as to how your particular studies are going in IIT Kharagpur, first of all.
Okay, so being a part of this reputed institute, which has a national importance, is very honored, like a honored feeling for us. Uh, Definitely, when I got selected, we never had second thoughts, and this is a great opportunity for those who are looking to build their career in IPR particularly and other fields as well. So IIT Kharagpur is a huge campus. You won't I personally feel that everything you need is available on the campus. So that is like giving you a view of how the campus is. Now coming about particularly the college, RG, so Rajiv Gandhi Institute. So in this college, faculties are too good. Like they are experienced faculties, and they are very helpful. And the way they teach you is really good. Like they send us reading material, we go through it, and then we have a class. So the teaching pattern is also very good. And so overall, my experience here is good, and I'm looking forward to it to learn more and explore the campus and utilize the resources. So IIT Kharagpur, as the name is, it provides you a huge number of resources. So it's up to you how you utilize the opportunity.
I see. And accordingly, Kanishka, if I ask you specifically about the placement, because a lot of students have a doubt that, what's the placement, how everything works there. So what would you say about that?
Okay, so placements, again, it is upon you. It's not that you have got into any institute for that matter, and placements will come handy to you. No, that's not the case for any institute in this world, I would say. So you need to work hard. You need to do your internships and then get good grades. Even the exam paper is also set in such a way that you need to study for that. And after doing all this, I think it's up to the student how they grab the opportunity.
I see. And what would you
Yeah.
say as to what sort of skills does one should have in order to grab a good placement from the particular campus of IIT Kharagpur?
So one is the practical skills which you acquire. So for that, faculties do give you some practical experience. That is a plus point. They do teach you in a very practical way. It's not the teaching is not based on the bare acts and the case laws. They do get you involved into how to draft a contract. So that's the crux of it. And for any student who is looking forward for a placement, whether it is IIT KGP or any university for that matter, I think practical skills are a definitely plus point.
I see, I see. So basically,
Yeah.
that all includes, as to if you're able to build networking as well, and accordingly, if you have the skills regarding if you want to file a patent or copyright or trademark, whatever skills or whatever like that particular subset of things that are required for that particular area of law, that has to be done in a very serious manner. So that is one thing that has to be taken into consideration for same. Accordingly, Kanishka, if I
Definitely.
talk about the next part of the whole thing. In IIT Kharagpur, people say that the IPR is very, very good. And it is comparable to the top NLUs that we have in this nation. So, according to you, what would your take be? That is it better than the NLUs, or IIT Kharagpur is somewhere in between the whole thing?
So I won't really comment on this that who is better or who is not. So it completely depends upon you that how you study, how you enhance your skills, and how you take the knowledge given by the faculties here. So like there's no comparison between the universities because there are few students who are doing absolutely great from IIT KGP, and there might be few students who are not, right? So it is completely based upon the students that how they go ahead with their career and how they practice these skills, they do their internships. So never ever it's like we are in NLU or we are in IIT KGP and we are going to get placements. That's not the case. For placements, we do have a separate exam, we do have an entire process to go ahead with, and then only we get placements. So you need to earn it. You really need to earn it.
Okay. And Kanishka, if I
Yeah.
come to the part, if we are talking about on-campus placement, that's the one thing. If I talk about off-campus placements and what sort of opportunities does one get after pursuing an LLM in IIT Kharagpur, what would you say in that?
So again, the same thing comes back that if you definitely when you are carrying the name of this prestigious institute, IIT KGP, then uh, you are known in the industry. And personally, even if I talk to some senior lawyers, they now recognize this university and they know. So with this, that is an advantage. That's true. But again, if you don't have the skill set, then God help.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah. And accordingly, if I talk about just like the opportunities that one might have, so like if I talk about patents or if I talk about trademarks or copyrights, like what sort of things can one expect accordingly?
So there's a bit distinction here that for those who are having a technical background can go for patents, and those who are not a technical background can definitely go for trademark and copyright. But also that the person who is not having a technical background can also go for patents. There is no as such bar into it, but that's how, like, you cannot appear for the patent agent exam. So that's I say minus point into the career. However, patent prosecution is again open to even non-technical students as well.
I understand. I understand that. So accordingly,
Yeah.
if I come to my next question, how would you say the faculty inside IIT Kharagpur is? Like, is the faculty really experienced, really good, or you would say that there are certain things that are not that great? Like, how would you rate the whole thing in your
So,
experience?
faculties are definitely too good. They have practical experience, they have practical exposure, and the main point is that they do have experience and they are willing to share their experience with you. So it's upon you that how you harvest it. But there are like a lot of opportunities. Faculties are willing to teach you, and they are like more than happy to share their knowledge with you. So faculties are great, and few faculties are even teaching us in off hours. Like, we do have classes till in evening and on the week offs, and even in online mode. So they don't leave any topic behind. You just go to them, ask them that, ma'am, this additional topic we need to learn, and they are more than happy to teach you that. So faculties are like too good over here.
I see. Acha, now,
Yeah.
Kanishka, coming to my one more question I would have, that what is the like the thing is that a lot of students want to prepare for judiciary as well while pursuing their LLM, and the amount of curriculum one has really affects that particular preparation accordingly. So according to you,
Hmm.
what is the level of difficulty when it comes to the curriculum itself, and how is it possible for a student to prepare for judiciary as well in that particular environment?
So, particularly when you are doing LLM from here, you are more specialized into IPR. Your major subject will be in IPR. So, and I don't think so that in any state, like in any of the judiciary exams in any state, there is IPR as a subject. So, that would be a additional burden if you are studying, like planning to do judiciary simultaneously, to like then again go back to the criminal law, the civil law. Because when you are doing LLM in IPR, you will be having an entire subset of IPR subjects, right? And to be honest, it's not that easy. Like, because as the college itself, they give you a lot of things to do, a lot of reading material, a lot of I already mentioned a practical experience and all. So you don't get time to prepare for judiciary simultaneously. However, in your second year, you might get some time because you have your dissertation work going on. So again, maybe that time, if you are planning, you can devote some time for judiciary as well.
I understand. So basically, it's
Yeah.
like the schedule is quite hectic. So if I just ask you about the schedule of like the whole, so when do the classes start and when do they end and how long are the classes?
So there is like we do have a timetable, but again, there is no specific fix hours, because generally it is 8 or 9 a.m. in the morning and then going up till 5 p.m. But in certain cases, the classes may go till 7 until 8 as well.
Okay, so basically it can be around like 12 hours back to back.
Not only if it is a workshop kind of thing, or if it is some external faculties coming in. That time it may happen that you have classes after 5 as well. But and we do have a tea break if we are having classes till 5. So, but generally classes are till 5 only.
Okay, I mean generally, but the schedule is quite hectic when it comes to if it's
That's true.
about judiciary and everything. The schedule is quite hectic, so it is a bit difficult to manage things around in that particular area of.
Yes,
Right.
because even on weekends you do keep on having some event or the another event, and I would really recommend to participate in those events. They are worth doing it. So if you keep on participating in events for weekends as well, you really don't have any time left with you.
I see, I see. And the thing is that if you are going into such an institution that provides you with such a exposure and experience when it comes to IPR itself, you have to make sure that you savor every moment that you are there in that particular college, because it is just 2 years of your life, and you have to make sure that you are able to utilize each and every fact therein. Acha, now coming to my last question, Kanishka, one more question I have. Now, this time around, what we have seen is that IIT Kharagpur is also providing a specialization into international law and I think so criminal law, if I'm not wrong. So, what is the scope there? Because IPR, we know that it is a very, very good college, but from the point of view of international law and criminal law, how does things work in that particular thing, if in your experience?
So particularly in my experience for international law, also there are a lot of opportunities out there. We do have some good international organizations which are taking in students for the internships and so on. So, and as I see the scenario that international law is emerging a lot. So it's still on the plate where it is emerging and new laws are coming in. So I see that for international law, there are a lot of opportunity available, and criminal is always a like key, and I like criminal law. I can never say that there's not any opportunity present there. So for criminal also it is good. However, the institute is well known for IPR itself. That is not an doubt to it. But for international law and for criminal law also, it is equivalently good.
I see. So if I ask you, like if you, because the thing is that if a student is preparing and they want to go for IPR in IIT Kharagpur, then it is understandable. But if you have a degree which says that your particular specialization is in international law or criminal law, so what impact do you think would have? Because compared to a student that is from an NLU versus IIT Kharagpur, criminal law or international law, what impact do you think would it have?
So, when you have carry a degree of IIT Kharagpur, or even being a student at IIT Kharagpur, it is itself a brand in itself, and the name has a lot of value to it. So, despite of what branch you are in, what stream do you have, IIT Kharagpur is always and always a tag to a person, which will remain for life. So, particularly for me, IIT Kharagpur is not just a tag, it is a feeling to us. And there's a saying in our college which says, an IITian always remain an IITian. So, with this, I would say that whether you're doing in criminal or international law, it's the name of this prestigious institute with so much of glorious history which is attached with your name. That matters at the end of the day.
Okay, I see. So, Kanishka, accordingly, I think that would be very, like, I think so. This particular session will really inspire a lot of students as to how they have to prepare for the exam. And one thing that has to be considered is that the interview process itself is not being conducted. So, accordingly, whenever the merit list comes, as like we have seen in the last years also, they don't mention particularly that who is first or who is second, but they do give a final merit list accordingly, and the process goes through the same process. So accordingly, I think, and also from the point of view of IIT Kharagpur itself has to the institution, how things work, placements, everything. I think so. You have enlightened the students a lot. Thank you very much for your time, and I think that the students will be enlightened with the same. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.